Well, breaking at noon, an inmate with ties to Northwest Arkansas escapes from prison. Police say he's considered to be extremely dangerous. We're live with more on the search for the former police chief for the town of Gateway.
Covering news where you live, 5 News starts with breaking news.
Well, this afternoon, authorities are continuing the search for escaped inmate Grant Hardin, who fled the North Central Unit in Calico Rock on Sunday. Now, Hardin is serving a 30-year sentence for first-degree murder and an additional sentence for rape. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi is live in Calico Rock. And Jacob, where do search efforts stand right now?
Good afternoon, Joe. Yeah, law enforcement officials are really hoping that today's daylight can help in search efforts, and they're currently out searching right now. And in speaking with the Arkansas Department of Corrections, they believe that based on tips and leads that they've received, that he hasn't gotten too far from the prison right here at Calico Rock. Now, Department of Corrections Communications Director Rand Champion says K-9 groups and drones are being used to aid in the search. They say that the rocky terrain here and consistent downpour of rain have made it difficult for search efforts, but say that it also could have prevented him from getting very far as well. Now, ADOC says that Hardin escaped Sunday afternoon through a sally port wearing a makeshift outfit that is not standard inmate or Department of Corrections uniform. Given Hardin's violent past, Champion says local, state, and federal law enforcement officials are using every resource available to try and find him as quick as possible.
We're not sure at this point whether he's still wearing the uniform that he was wearing when he escaped. We tend to believe he's not, but at this point we can't rule that out. Again, I think the mugshot that we have of him is fairly recent. It was taken a few months ago, so it should give a pretty accurate description of what he does look like. Again, we're asking anyone sees anything, hears anything, knows anything, please contact 911. Please contact your local authorities. Please do not try to approach him by yourself.
Now, we are about 2 miles from the prison, and we were stopped by law enforcement, and we can't get any closer to the prison. We've also, driving into Izard County, came across a couple of checkpoints. They're looking inside vehicles, again, trying to make sure that Hardin isn't escaping by the road. But of course, we're going to be here and update you with the very latest. Joe.
All right, thanks so much for that, Jacob. Now you can stay up to date with the search for Hardin today as law enforcement across the state work to track him down. Just download the 5 News app. There you can also find extensive coverage of Hardin's past cases and the details that unfolded at his trials.
Let's get a check of live Doppler radar. We continue to see some spotty to scattered showers out there this afternoon. They're trying to push their way out of the area, struggling to do so. Some clearing nonetheless. We'll go in tight into northwest Arkansas. It's a light rain, but it's enough to be annoying on your Memorial Day plans. With a few hours time, this should continue to break up. In the River Valley, it's a bit more scattered in nature, not as widespread, but still some spotty to scattered showers across the area. This too going to continue for just a little bit longer. Let's track those rain chances. They're going to continue to decrease. By about 3 o'clock, we're down to a 40% chance. Northwest Arkansas, 5 p.m., 6 o'clock tonight. Let's call it a 20% chance, and those are going to stay relatively low. But a few spotty showers continue into the evening. In the River Valley, we're on that same descent. May take a couple more hours before we're mostly dry. Even then, as you make those plans for tonight, you might want to have the rain gear just to be on the safe side. A few additional spotty showers can't be ruled out. 59 degrees currently in Bentonville, 60s elsewhere. Slightly warmer in the River Valley from Van Buren through Ozark. We're in those mid 60s. 63 currently in Boonville. Got some 50s from places like Springdale, Rogers. It's a cool Memorial Day, one of the coolest we've had in quite some time. Warmer temperatures, though, aren't too far away. While a couple of drier days before our next disturbance gets here. We'll track that and more coming up in your new 7-day forecast.
Well, investigators have arrested a suspect after a stabbing in Fort Smith. Police say the incident happened inside of Hope campus on Sunday evening, and a victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators arrested 32-year-old Wesley Underwood. He is now facing 1 count of first-degree battery and is being held at the Sebastian County Adult Detention Center. The woman accused of the kidnapping and murder of Ashley Bush and her unborn baby will undergo a mental fitness exam before she stands trial. A judge ordered that exam for Amber Waterman after her lawyer cited a brain lesion causing seizures and trouble communicating. A state forensic psychiatrist will conduct the evaluation. The court is also reviewing a separate motion, claiming investigators violated her civil rights. Her next hearing is set for July 7th in Benton County. President Trump is calling Russia's president, quote, crazy after a weekend of attacks on Ukraine. It comes a week after the two leaders had a 2-hour phone call to discuss a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Natalie Brandt has the latest from the White House.
President Trump marked Memorial Day by honoring U.S. service members killed in conflict amid an escalation in Russia's war with Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say over the last 48 hours, Russia launched its biggest drone attack since the start of the war. An assault this weekend killed more than a dozen people. Officials say more than 350 drones hit 30 cities, sending civilians running for shelter. This mom says she grabbed her child and covered it in a blanket for protection.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people.
President Trump told reporters he's considering sanctions against Russia, and on social media said Putin has gone absolutely crazy. The president added, "I've always said that he wants all of Ukraine, not just a piece of it. But if he does, it will lead to the downfall of Russia."
President Trump's sharp tone towards Putin comes a week after they spoke by phone, and he said Russia and Ukraine would immediately begin ceasefire negotiations.
We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in a statement, said Russia's disregard for diplomacy and refusal even to consider a ceasefire must be met with a freeze on Russian finances and a halt to its oil trade. Earlier, Zelensky had also accused the U.S. of not doing enough to respond, saying silence of America, silence of others around the world only encourages Putin. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, President Trump took to social media, saying in part that President Zelensky is doing his country no favors by talking the way he does.
Right after it passed over, they stepped outside. We just got a text that said, "Our house is gone."
Well, that was a family, a member of a Decatur couple who lost their mobile home in a tornado last May. Today marks 1 year since the devastating tornado outbreak in Benton County. Although the storm claimed lives and devastated property, it also brought the community together. Happening now, the city of Decatur is holding a lunch in the park and a proclamation to mark the anniversary. The event will last until 1 at the Veterans Park. According to the National Weather Service, an EF3 tornado hit Decatur during the outbreak last year and traveled at least 7 miles. Now, join us for a special edition of 5 News First at 4 today as we reflect on the tragedy a year ago and the progress that's been made. Arkansas recovers 1 year later. Today at 4, only on 5 News. Well, new at noon today, the Arkansas baseball team is set to host the NCAA Tournament Regionals in Fayetteville. Here's a look at the draw. Arkansas is number 3 overall and will be a host. Joining the Razorbacks in the Fayetteville Regional will be Kansas, Creighton, and North Dakota State. Regional play will get underway on Friday at Baum Walker, where the Hogs will open against North Dakota State. The start time for that game will be 2 Friday afternoon. Well, it is Memorial Day, and today is expected to be a very busy day on the road and the airports alike. As Wendy Gillette reports, AAA has projected record-breaking travel numbers.
Travelers heading home after their Memorial Day holiday festivities could hit a snag of heavy traffic later today. AAA predicts more than 45 million Americans will travel this long weekend, setting a record.
If this weekend is any indication of what's to come, it's going to be very busy on our roadways, at the airports.
The Transportation and Security Administration was expecting to screen about 18 million people this weekend. Thursday was projected to be the busiest air travel day of the Memorial Day weekend period. At Newark Airport, Anthony Esposito was hoping his flight to Italy would depart on time.
A lot of the kiosks are pretty booked up right now, so it's taking a little bit of time to get through the terminals, but we're making our way.
More than 1,000 flights have been delayed at Newark since Thursday. The Federal Aviation Administration has cut flights in and out of the airport from 77 to 56 until at least mid-June, partly because of a shortage of air traffic controllers.
We're going to get Newark fixed, but are you going to see some disruption in regard to delays? Yeah, you're going to see delays. Is it safe? Yes.
Aviation experts predict wider problems.
There's an old adage within the air traffic control system in the United States. However New York goes, so goes the rest of the country.
There are some positives this summer for Americans. Gas prices are about 50 cents lower per gallon compared to last year, and airfares have also dropped. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.